Hey everybody, this is Alan Fine, and I'm here with Jason Picard, who's the president and CEO of Bastion Industries. Now, Bastion Industries is an indigenous company that makes moccasins in Wendake, which is part of Quebec in Canada. And I'm here because of Rendezvous Canada. We're trying to get travel advisors to know more about Canada, sell more Canada. Well, this episode is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to show you a very special hotel that's approaching luxury. We're going to show you evening events and things you can do, all here on Insider Travel Report. But let's talk about a place that you were actually a sales manager at, and the place we're sitting in right now, this hotel.
Yeah, we're currently at the Hotel Musée Première Nation, which is, I would say, the gem of our travel and tourism industries in Wendake. It opened in 2008, and over the last 15 years, the nation invested more or less $55 million into tourism. And the hotel is more than just a hotel. It's more like a cultural resort where you can discover about the nation of the Huron-Wendat people. You can eat, you can taste our meals, and
we're going to go into detail,
or discover more about who we are actually.
But so the hotel is owned by who?
The hotel is owned by us. It's a public investment. I'm currently part of the board of this hotel. So 60% of this hotel is owned by the Huron-Wendat Nation, and another 40% is owned by a trust fund, also managed by Indigenous people of Quebec.
That's great. Okay, so and part of what we're going to talk about is how the company is trying to get tourism to, well, yeah, you go to Quebec City, but you really should spend a day or two just about a half hour away, which is where we are now. But let's go back to the hotel. So the hotel, you said it in its proper way. If we were going to look it up, can we also say Premier Nations Hotel and Museum? Okay. And so let's talk about it. So you started its history. Let's walk in the front door and talk about the public spaces and all the artwork.
All right. When you get in the hotel, we really wanted to give the feeling that you're walking outside. That's why it's all facing the Akiawenrak River. It's very nature oriented, and the decoration are all done by Indigenous art pieces. One of our former Grand Chief, Max Gros-Louis, who passed away a few years ago, left us lots of arts. So when you get in, you can see Norval Morisseau authentic paints. That was one of the most Canadian Indigenous painters.
Which one's that? So we show it.
Norval Morisseau is just at the entrance on the right-hand side of the entrance. Okay. Then you have also a sculpture that are representing a bee nest, and another one that is representing a sturgeon that are made by a member of the nation too. And when you get to the front desk, just behind the front desk, there's a carpet. The carpet is showing what a moose see during winter time, because moose don't see colors. So you can see on the carpet, like, sort of the shade of different trees. So that's exactly what a moose see in the bush during winter time. So again, all those little pieces remind who we are and our history and our culture.
And as you're walking there, then you have this wonderful just sitting, lounging area with a fire pit, and you have these chairs. Let's talk about that and the artwork there.
Yeah, around the fire pit, there's also 3 different paints of a new artist that we discovered. She's an employee of the hotel, and during the renovation, because we had to put walls in front of the windows, she decided to paint those 3 beautiful paints representing feathers. So hopefully she'll have great success in her art in in the coming years.
But also, as you see these videos, you're seeing the renovation that is in progress, where there's going to be much more, even more visibility of the river.
Yep, absolutely.
So as you come around from the pit, what are all those displays I saw over the stairwell?
Well, this is the little boutique of the hotel, because you have to know that here in Wendake we're very entrepreneur oriented. There's lots of small businesses.
You support each other,
and we support each other. So all those things are either cosmetics made by indigenous women we have here. My moccasins. Also, there's a paddle from a company called Aquata Paddle. So it's all arts and crafts or product that come from our community, or at least are indigenous owned and operated here in Quebec.
And as we're saying, as you go to the rooms, and we're about to talk about room types, the corridors are really a museum.
Yeah, the corridor is a museum because, well, first, the architecture of the hotel is very special. It reminds a longhouse, and also it goes like this to remind the snake, because there's an old legend about the Kuba snake that separated the indigenous from the non-indigenous during wars. So
it slapped its tail, and that river formed that's behind the hotel.
Exactly. The great snake Kuba slapped his tail and created the Wenrak River, and that's why on one side you got Wendake, and on the other side you got Quebec City.
But you also told me that it's shaped like a longhouse. I didn't know what that was. Stay tuned, because we're going to explain more what that is. Keep going.
Yeah, the longhouse is the original dwelling of the Huron-Wendat people, because we were a nation of farmer compared to lots of nomadic nation. We were more sedentary. We were harvesting corn. We were harvesting pumpkins, all kinds of vegetables. Well, actually 80% of our food back then was from veggies, and
with the three sisters.
With the
corn.
sisters, exactly. Corn, pumpkins, and beans, mostly. And yeah, when you walk onto the corridors, also there's different art pieces, either peace pipe or tomahawk. They're all done by people of my nation. Even the room number, they are painted on piece of leather from an artist called Joe Bin. This artist made an outfit for Bruce Springsteen in the 90s, so she's very famous here in the nation.
All right, so now we're in the hallway. Let's go in a room. What are the room types? I think you have two.
Yeah, we have three different room types. So there's executive suite, junior suite, and comfort room. And there's the new part, because we've just added 27 extra rooms. So we call it the luxury section here that we are right now. So there's more or less 4 different rooms right now.
So the big suite is just larger, but let's talk about the rooms, because the amenities are mostly the same.
Yeah, the amenities are the same. We want to be recognized as a luxury hotel of Quebec City. We're close to the city center, but it's a great place to disconnect and just enjoy nature. And the amenities are, you have Nespresso coffee machines, you have glass showers. All the rooms are riverfront, so wherever you're located in the hotel, you always have a view on nature. So yeah, very.
Wait, you're leaving out. I love the showers, because you can set the temperature, and then you can set how many nozzles you want to have spray you. I love that. I also have not seen this, and again, you are approaching luxury. 2 thermostats. I can control the room separate from the bathroom. Wonderful. There's recessed lighting behind everything, the molding. Very nice touch. You have USBs everywhere, plugs everywhere, a wonderful desk. It's really well thought out.
Yeah, well, thanks. Appreciate it. I'll pass on the word to our architect too, but I really think they did a good job. And also, as it's the investor is the nation, we always really wanted our hotel to reflect our culture. So all the architects that worked on the hotel, they always had to sit with our people from the culture to understand who we are before making any draws. So the amenities again is combined with that blend of the Wendake culture that makes us a unique hotel of Quebec.
And so these vertical things in the rooms are more indications of the fences around the longhouses?
Correct. Yeah.
And we also have outside the hotel?
Yeah, outside the hotel, like you have different verticals, piece of wood that represent the fence, and then the longhouse, and also we have an original longhouse connected to the hotel.
We'll talk about that more when we talk about the museum. Let's continue. We've talked about the rooms, and now I would love to talk about the fact that you have a gym and you have a pool. So we'll show them that, and then you have food. You have not just food, you have Michelin star chef. So let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah. The food here is absolutely amazing. La Traite restaurant won numerous awards here in Quebec. And we're not shy to say that we're at least in the top 10 restaurant of the city. So our specialties is ingredients that come from our forest, that come from our land. And the chef, Marc de Passorio, is a Michelin star chef that came from France. And you may wonder why a French chef in an indigenous property. Actually, the mission of this chef is to elevate our food and also to train indigenous youth to become chefs. So we're sort of a school for indigenous people who would like to pursue a career into kitchen and into cooking, and that's what Marc de Passorio is doing the best.
And what was his connection to the Wendake and the area?
Actually, he came here in about 3 years ago and just fell in love with who we are and what we're doing. And he was a little tired of, all that fancy restaurant and that fancy culture in France. So he wanted to do something new, and he wanted to give back to the community. And he felt he could make a difference here in Wendake, and that's exactly what he's doing. And also, Marc de Passorio, during his free time, owned a trailer, and he's traveling into different northern indigenous communities where he set it up like an open-air kitchen, and he loves to, sit with elders, but also show to indigenous youth how his knowledge in gastronomy could bring their food and their culture at another level. And at the same time with the elders, he's always discovering, that new kind of plants or that new spices that it could get from the bush. So that's a great.
So as you've been seeing from the pictures that we're showing you, this is local food. These are traditional recipes, but as we said, elevated. They look like they're French dishes, but they are from your heritage.
Correct. So we're eating deer, buffalo, trout, smoked salmon. Even you had wild boar. So all kind of different.
But I have to say, I'm not going to say which 5-star luxury hotel I was in Quebec City, but feels I prefer this. You have every amenity that I want in a 5-star luxury, and I don't know when you'll get that designation, but keep going because this is really something. Now, attached to the hotel is a museum and I guess the museum and then the Longhouse, which let's talk about the Longhouse for a second because I found that interesting. The youth, in order to teach them about their own heritage and to give them jobs, you guys invested in the youth to build one, and tell us what they built.
Yeah, actually, every summer here in Wendake for summer jobs, we're offering to our youth a program called Maintenance of the Traditions. So in different summer, they will learn different traditions from our culture. And a couple of years ago, the nation decided to invest into a longhouse, so our youth could learn how to build an authentic longhouse. But at the same time, we said, well, we're going to build a longhouse, so why don't we use it for tourism purposes? So for a whole summer, our youth, accompanied by elders and also by historians, have been able to build this longhouse.
And so what I learned was that families, this one I think would host about 30 people, 15 families, but in theory it would be 50, 80 people in one of these houses where they would live through the winter. They would have their fires. They'd have their meat above being smoked. It was really quite informative. And they have a fence around it, which is what we were talking about earlier, these vertical stylistic elements around the hotel, indicative of this fence that protected the longhouse. What else can you tell us about the longhouse? Because we're showing them.
Well, in the Longhouse, you can also have tales and legends of the nation. So every night we have a storyteller coming in where you can assist to these tales and legends. And then you can move on to the night walk, because that's another very impressive attraction we have in Wendake. So that's, as I was saying, we're sort of a cultural resort. So you come here, you enjoy great amenities, you enjoy a luxury hotel, but then you're learning about who we are by visiting the museum, by having these tales and legends in the Longhouse, and by having this night walk.
What I'm saying is you can't come here and just visit this all by day. You have to spend the night, because you have to go to the night walk. Now first I want to say it was a little bit cool. So you took me someplace and I got this. I'm very proud. And it kept me warm as I went out into the evening. Now tell us how this came about.
Yeah, well, the night walk is an agreement between the nation and a company called Moment Factory, very well known for their light shows all over the world. And Moment Factory was looking to partner with Indigenous nations here in Canada to show our culture in a different way, and that's exactly what they're doing. So the night walk start with different scenery of our culture and different historical episode of our culture along the way. So that's a night walk of about an hour and a half, where you can really enjoy technology, but again blended with the Wendake.
So what you're seeing, though, and since the travel advisor is always selling Disney, Cinderella's castle, that projection, this is that and more. And so all of the stories, the Wendake stories, are presented with music, and there's got to be hundreds of speakers, because the sound was coming from everywhere. And so notable for me, the story of how the Earth created. You want to tell a little bit about that, because we'll show it.
Yeah. Well, the history of the creation of the world for the Wendake, we believe that we're all living on the back of the turtle. So that's why the turtle is at the center of our history and also of our arts. You can see turtle almost everywhere when you're here in the hotel or at the night walk or even in different restaurants. So yeah, the turtle is everything for us.
The other ones I really loved. I loved the story of wampum and the belts.
Yeah, the wampum belts. The wampum is a contract between a nation to another. And when the non-Indigenous people came in, we also offered different wampums because for us it was a way to seal an agreement with another nation.
So they're beautiful, but they're also they are the contract. There was no writing, so the story of the agreement is in this belt.
Correct. Like all the wampum belt has a different history. And in every village back then, we had a wampum carrier. So the only job of the wampum carrier was to remember the significance of each and every wampum in the nation, to make sure that our politics don't go go west, and we stay on track of the agreement we have with different nations.
And I heard if something got damaged, if they didn't fix it, it was war.
Yeah.
If something got damaged, if the artwork was damaged, you had to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
Toward the end, there's this forest of just thousands of twinkly lights, and you're drawn in, and you know it's going to end, and you can see there's the path out, but there's all this going on. I don't want to, and you could see the camera going, but I don't want to leave. I want to, and it just gets more and more interesting.
The whole tour is simply amazing.
It's really worth seeing, and if you're coming to Quebec City, you need to make the time to take at least a day, if not two, to do all that there is to do out here. Do you want to say anything else? Let's give them some information on the hotel. If they want to learn more about the hotel, where should they go? What's the URL?
Well, they can visit www.tourismwendake, or also Hôtel Musée Première Nation, or First Nations Hotel Museum on Google, and you'll find us. Or just type Wendake also on Google, and you'll find everything to see, to eat, and to discover, and to sleep here.
You are an entrepreneur yourself. You seem like the unofficial mayor of Wendake. And so let's talk about what you did, and the fact that you bought the factory that your mom lived across from. And as I said, she must be very proud. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm a former travel rep myself. I've worked my whole career in the travel trade industries. I travel the world to share my culture and to share our knowledge as Indigenous people of Canada. And last year, during COVID was tough on our industry. The owner of a company called Bastion Industry called me and told me that she was ready to sell her business. So we agreed, and I took over Bastion Moccasin Factory on April 2022. So
in the museum, there's a pamphlet, I guess from the 1800s or something, with moccasins, and so that's yours now.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a very historical company because the Bastion family's been doing moccasins since 1878. Where we are right now in the hotel, it was back then a train station, and all the rich people from Upper Town, Quebec City, they all own a cottage house to a lake called St. Charles Lake close by. So they were all stopping to buy moccasins or toboggan or snowshoes. So all the women were selling our arts and crafts here at the train station. And at one point, this is what saved our economy, because at the end of the 19th and beginning of the 20th century, about 80% of the Wendake family were working for Bastion's factory. And this factory survived over the years. And in the 70s, Bastion became huge. It was owned by a New York company, went bankrupt, but when it went bankrupt, the manager, Roland Bastion, founded Bastion Industries. So took the knowledge back to the community, and Bastion Industries has been running since 1972, and I'm the third owner of this company. We're producing over 45,000 pair of moccasins every year. We're selling them in different stores across Canada and US. We have 23 employees, and all our moccasins are handmades with Canadian leather, and they are all hand beaded. So we really want to follow the traditions, and I feel with my knowledge in marketing and in international development, I could leverage this company to another level and share the knowledge that we have here.
So speaking of that, you realized that what you needed to do was to be able to have a showroom on wheels to go to different Wendake functions and say, here, look at this, come and tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm currently building a trailer. So it's a 16-foot trailer that is going to be a mobile boutique where we will display our moccasins in different festivals across the country, and where you could try our moccasins, because as you know, they're super comfy, and then we do the transaction and we ship straight from our manufacturers. So that the goal is really, again, to share our knowledge and to share our traditional product as a member of the nation.
So again, if you're interested in the real deal, how can they contact you or look at the catalog? Where would they go?
They go on our website. We ship worldwide, and we have free shipping all over North America. So if you're from US or Canada, you can check out our website at www.bastion, BASTIEN, industries.ca.
And if they have questions, is there an email address or anything they should use?
They can use info@bastionindustries.ca. They're available on our website as well.
Well, I hope that, first of all, I hope that you start thinking about Wendake, and you also think about buying moccasins by mail and over the internet. Jason, thank you for talking.
Well, it's a pleasure. As we say in our language, Tiawan Kune. Thanks. Goodbye.
And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.